Hi everyone, Gemma here. Thank you for watching today. I'm going to be showing you how to make a wiper and puppet card. So a two-in-one combination of kinetic mechanisms there. I think it's such a fun card. This is part of the new collection from Made to Surprise called Spooktacular. This is a paper collection with many pieces and elements to it. I'll just pop a link in the top right hand corner there if you haven't seen the collection video, and you can take a look at that in more detail. I can't stop playing with it, it's just so fun. And the skeleton moves really well with the light sort of reflecting on it. As I move it, it sort of looks like his mouth is moving. Or it does to me anyway. I don't know if you're catching that on camera. So I'll show you how I made this. I'm going to break the card up into three sections, the first being the wiper, the second being the puppet, and the third being the final decoration. So for the wiper part of the card, I'll be using the 6x6 square wiper card die set. So I'll just give you the cutting guide. So I have this largest die here, and I cut that twice in white cardstock. Then with the matte pieces, I've cut them in the orange cardstock. This cardstock is from the Perfect Colours from Creative Craft Products, and this then is to match the Spooktacular Collection by Made to Surprise. Then for my pattern paper, I've cut two strips manually to 1/2 inch by 5.5. They will sit over these pieces like so. And then this panel, I've used that with the wiper mechanism. So I am going to set this to one side, but I just wanted to give you a visual of the pattern paper. And this is from the Spooktacular Collection, premium foiled card pack, 6 foiled die cut topper sheets, 10 foiled pattern papers and 16 pattern papers. So that's all included in here. Then lastly, I've cut this piece in acetate, and it's going to have my sentiment popping up on that. So I'll just set this to one side and we'll take a look at assembling the card. So I've got my two wiper pieces here. I've reinforced my score lines, and I'm going to fold and burnish. So I'll talk you through those now. So the first fold is a valley, the second is a mountain. So you do that on both pieces, like so. So you've got the top piece facing you, and you have the two inch panels here on your left hand side. You flip this over and they will attach together like so. Okay, so let's just work on the front piece at the moment. So I've got my pieces of orange cardstock there. I'm going to attach these with some collal glue to the front of the card. Then I'm also going to attach the pattern pieces as well. I did think about popping them up onto some foam so they'd match the same dimension as the panel, but I think that will sort of interfere with it folding flat. So I'm just going to glue those flat down. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these, and I'll come back to you. So there's my coloured cardstock and pattern paper attached to the front piece. I'm going to let that grab and time to set, so I'm going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to work on the acetate piece now. So apologies if you can't see that, I'm going to try and shine it in the light. So you want the folded edge here on the bottom left hand side. I'm going to just fold that just both ways at the moment, just to help add some flexibility to the acetate. So the first thing you want to do is attach the some red liner tape to this corner here, and you want to attach it on the top of your piece. And the sentiment that I'm going to use is the word boo. So on the same side as the other red liner tape, just going to pop a little bit on the top there. Again, making sure that that's in place. I'm just going to double check that that will be covered by the sentiment, which it is. I'm just going to remove the liner from that to attach that down. And I'm just going to pop that in the center about halfway. If I turn that upside down, so it's about halfway covering the sentiment there, and I'm just going to burnish that again, make sure that that's attached well. Next, I'm going to remove the liner from the triangle section. Like so. And I'm just going to fold that away from me. So we've got the sentiment facing down and the adhesive facing up. So I'm going to take the front panel of my card. I'm going to flip it over. So this is the top of the card here. And with it open like this, I find it better to place the acetate piece. So you can move it up and down and place it wherever you like it. Obviously you want it near the top end. So as it pops up, you'll need to see the sentiment in place. So I'm going to come sort of quite close to the edge, but I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch so that you won't be able to see it from the top, and I'm moving the edge of the acetate up to the scored line, not on it, just right of it. And I'm going to fold these two pieces back. It's got a chance to grab onto that acetate piece. If we put these two together, as you open the card, it will pop up like so. Sorry, we're slightly out of shot there. If you fold that down, and as you open it, it'll pop up. So we're going to attach these two together now. I'm just going to burnish that actually, make sure that's in place. And we're going to attach these two together. So I'm just going to flip this over. I'm going to add glue all along this panel here. I'm going to take this edge, so you've got your your inch panels on the right hand side. Sorry, I'm lost for words today. Can't seem to spit out what I'm trying to say. So you want to line those two edges up. Make sure that they line up on the bottom as well. So you've got a nice flat surface for your card to stand. I'm just going to give that a minute to just grab. So I think that's in place. So I'm just folding these two other panels. I flipped it over, folded these two panels back, and I'm going to add glue along this panel now. And then fold that over the top, and everything should marry up. and as you open that, that pops up. Now we're going to move on to the puppet section of the card. So the mechanism that I'm using is the Snow Angel card base, and this is from It's Only a Puppet collection. So this is the 6x6 card base. So I've cut this twice, once in white cardstock and once in the pattern paper, and I've attached them together using some collage glue to add some strength to those pieces. So I've just popped this against the orange cardstock there, so you can see that the mechanism cuts a slot in the top there, and these 4 holes that your brad will fit through. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of glare on the foiled cardstock there. Hopefully you can see those holes. Next, I cut this piece twice, once in white cardstock and once in the mirror cardstock, and I've used an arrow from the It's Only More Puppets mechanism die set to pop on the top of there. So this will be our piece that moves our puppet. So I'll just set this to one side, and the puppet that I'm using is the skeleton. So all the pieces are already cut for you. Just have to pop them out of the paper pad. We've got the holes already, so you know where to place them. You might just have to just use a pokey tool just to remove those, like so. Oh, just having a little trouble with this one. Doesn't want to come free. So I believe the skeleton will piece together like so. I've got a bone there as extra decoration, so I'll just pop that to one side. So if you haven't used this before, you've got 4 holes in here, and you use these holes to attach your arms and legs. The second hole then on the arms and legs will attach to this hole on your mechanism piece, and they'll all slot together. So I'm just going to add the first one on camera with you, and then the process is the same for the rest of the pieces. So I've just used my tweezers there to open the brad up slightly, and I'm going to slot that through the first hole on the arm, and then slot that through that hole there. You then want to use your pokey tool and place that underneath the arm of the brad and just fold that over. So you don't want it flat against this piece. You really want it to have that movement, be able to sort of swing quite freely there. You can trim these down if you want. Just take a normal pair of scissors once you've folded them over. Takes a little bit of force to cut through it, but it does go. I only do it so you can't sort of really see the arms behind the skeleton piece there. So as I said, I'm going to attach the rest and I'll come back to you. So there's my arms and legs now attached, and they all sort of swing freely like so. So the next thing you want to do is pop this through the slot there, and it will sit that side of the mechanism. And now we line up the second hole with the hole in the square panel. So it's the same process as before. Just open it up slightly, slot it through the first hole and then the second hole. hopefully you can see that okay. I apologize, I think the cardstock isn't helping to see it. I'm just going to flip that over, and again just open that out using my pokey tool, and as you pull this up and down, the arm waves like so. So it's the same process for the rest of the pieces. They'll all line up to the 4 holes there, like so, and then I'll show you how to attach the remaining pieces. So it moves up and down like so. It's just so fun. And then we've got the main body and the head. Now this had some holes in it, so you're going to have to mindfully position this so that the brads are hidden. Ideally I'd use different colour brads, white, possibly grey or black, to disguise those, but I don't have those in my stash, so I'm just going to have to manoeuvre it. I think I can get away with it to about there, and then the head will sit there like so. So you want to grab yourself some foam adhesive pads. I'm using the Creative Craft Products 2mm thick white foam pads. And I'm going to cut these down to the relevant size. So you want to move your puppet to the sort of upright position where the arms are pointing up like so. And I'm just going to cut the foam pads down, and you want to double up on these. So I'm just going to place a piece there. Just check that that doesn't interfere with the mechanism, and it does. So I'm just going to pull that back up and reposition that a little higher. Didn't think it was interfering too much, but just to be on the safe side. And then I'm just going to pop the second piece, she says. So that's taken some of the cardstock away. I'm just going to add some wet glue. Make sure that that stays in place. Just going to pop that there like so. And then I need to do the same on the opposite side. Like so. And then I need to cut 2 more pieces for the head. And that needs to sit above the slot there. So double check that that's moving okay, and it is. Before I attach the body and the head, I'm just going to flip it over, and you need to add some foam on the back to lift it up because of your brads. So I'm going to add 1 layer at first to see how that is sitting. I like to pop a little bit in between there. Make sure that your brads don't catch on this piece. That's sitting fine. So 1 layer on the back is fine by me, and I'm going to trim another piece down just to pop there and there. And then I like to add 2 squares either side of the pull tab, so we don't have any movement. So I'm just going to do a double check. Apologies, the sun has come in now, so I'm just going to shut the blinds. Hopefully that doesn't affect too much. So apologies there, the sun was coming through. I was on the front of the house. It's causing a few shadows on my desk. I hope you could see everything okay. I'll just quickly run through it. So I've doubled up on the foam there to counteract against the brads. You want to make sure that the arms are upright and you add them in between the gaps there. Doubled up on the foam on the slot there, and if I flip it over, I've also added some foam tabs on the back. I like to add them either side of the pull tab and a bit in the center, but just be mindful that your brads don't catch on that square piece and it affects the movement. So once that's added, we can remove the backing of the foam piece, pieces I should say. And as I said, I need to be mindful of the brads. So I'm just going to maneuver this till I'm happy. Just going to press that down now on the foam pads like so. Check it's moving. That's great. And then for the head, I'm just going to add a bit of quick grab glue on the bottom and place that there like so. It's on the foam, and then I take my tweezers and pinch that cardstock together so we can grab. One more check, so you're happy with the movement. I think that looks so fun. So I'm just going to take the backing off the foam pads now and add that to my card. So if you're ever worried about your placement, you can add some wet glue on the foam pads. Help position that if you wish. So you've added both the wiper piece and the puppet together there. You can add like a slight curve sort of into the cardstock, and that will help the recipient be able to grab onto that a little better. So we can add some more decoration to this now. We can't really have anything interfering with these pieces here, so anything going up and down. We have got a little gap at the bottom, so I'm going to have a look at the ephemera. Just bring that in. So some really lovely pieces in here, and you'll see, I'm sure you've seen from my samples, how many cards you can make with all these pieces. I'm just going to have a little look through. See what pieces to add. I could probably have that spider. So we'll check. That should be fine. You could glue that down there. So there's everything now attached. The puppet moves like so, and the wiper pops up like so. And then if I just flip that over, I've got that white panel there with the washi strips. So such a fun card, and so many moving pieces on there. Anyone that loves kinetic cards will love that. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have, you might want to hit the like button, leave a comment, or consider subscribing to the channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. As always, the products will be listed in the description box below. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!